Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. It's been a good week. It's been a long week, folks. It's been just a busy week. I've had a lot on my mind. I've had a lot going on. It's been a little crazy. Sorry, just making sure everything's recording. It's been a little crazy, but it's been good crazy. I've had so much going on between just like work at home, planning for this trip to Ireland, and just testing out cameras. I've been thinking about cameras a lot lately. I can tell I'm getting ready to shoot something soon, just because my mentality is getting back not only into production, but just filmmaking. Like, Stevie's better. Christine's on a roll with her auditions and getting gigs. Congrats again, Christine. You're just fucking killing it. And there's a lot of momentum right now with the film career and the dream and everything coming together. So, and then there's also Thanksgiving coming up this week. Christmas is right around the corner. I mean, it's my favorite time of the year for sure. And yeah, it's been nonstop. So I'm grateful for all the busyness I've had in my life, because I think the busyness is what gives you purpose. And that's like kind of the fucking best thing about life, right? Just having a goal or something to work towards and just fucking feeling like you have fulfillment in general. So I'm grateful for the busyness, to say the least. Been working a lot on this secret project with Stevie, kind of developing something that'll be really useful and it'll be really cool to do. I won't even get too specific about it, but it's definitely more in the e-commerce field, and that's been really cool. Just kind of like developing that out. Spending a lot of time at home because of that, because we've been working on this project. So been doing that, kind of just hanging out, grinding some TV shows. The rain is kind of dissipated, but like the first half of the week was kind of shitty, and like it's gotten a little bit better weather-wise, but it's just fucking cold. It's cold in California. Like, and it's not unusual this time of the year, but like winter came early, and I kind of felt like that was the case. Like, maybe even a month or two ago, we had some like pretty heavy rain and then just went away. And it's just so funny. I didn't really mention this last week, but like being in Woodland Hills, it was so fucking hot. It was like 80 or 90. Even at night, you had like a nice 75. My lips got so fucking chapped. And like the week I was there, and now like back home, that's not the problem. Like, it's besides the point. But it's just funny coming home to like this like mild ass Mediterranean climate that's just like, it's like perfect weather. I get it. People always say like, why stay in California if it's this and that? And like, well, the fucking weather, like as generic as it sounds, it is true. Like, our weather is perfect on the Central Coast. Like Monterey County, top tier weather. A little cold compared to maybe some of the other hot spots in California, but I can't fucking complain. My lips don't get chapped at the very least. But anyway, something to think about when I moved to Woodland Hills. And it's just the juxtaposition of having like this hot, like fucking literally like LA movie weather, and then coming back home to the Central Coast and like immediately like atmospheric river, huge storm, lightning, thunder, cold weather in general. It's just interesting, very California, I guess. That being said too, the rain and like the shitty weather kind of threw off my walking, which the walking's nice. It's like a basis for my grind of just like trying to stay healthy, stay in shape, stay physical. And it also helps with my back. My back problems really went away when I started walking like regularly and just using my body like regular, just all the time. Like, I'm not like a sedentary person, but like between COVID and those last few years, like the sedentary lifestyle, just hanging out at home, like I think it's no stranger to anyone. It's just kind of what happened. And like, anyways, it hasn't really been a problem in the last 2 or 3 years, but this rain definitely like, it was too heavy. Like I remember even left for a walk last week and it immediately like started drizzling and it started turning into a fucking rainstorm. I was like halfway around the block. I'm like, fuck, I might have to call somebody or I'm going to be coming home like literally drenched. So anyways, not a big deal, but yeah, I'm looking forward to having a little clearer skies this week, as we can see. And I don't even know why I'm talking about the fucking weather. It's just the most boring thing you can talk about, but here I am. So anyways, we've been spending a lot of time working from home. Weather's gotten a little shitty, but it's getting better. So I've been able to get out back on my grind. I've also checked the weather in Ireland. Like, it's definitely no picnic as far as like temperatures go, but it's besides the point. I think it'll be all good. There goes my printer. I print out my outline for this. That's the one thing I forgot to shut off. I usually shut off all the other shit. We'll let it go. I'll allow it. Anyways, yeah. Weather aside, I don't even know where I was going with that. Just brainstorming. Oh, also another thing is like Stevie and I, like we were in Woodland Hills. We were able to drive around again, have like the late night talks, fucking, mob around town. And now he's feeling good. So like we've been able to do that again. Those are really like important conversations, just because like I hear this from a lot of people. A lot of people don't have like a brother or someone they can just like talk to. And it's important to be able to like express your thoughts, like even in just the moment, even if it's bullshit and it's just a fucking rant. It's important because it helps you get instant feedback, and we do that a lot. And like we talk about whether it's a business project or a creative project. It's just, it's good to have a backboard. So we talk virtually constantly about like what we're going to do. But yeah, it's just a lot going on creatively, business wise, just figuring out 2026, figuring out the move, figuring out the next movie, figuring out everything, So that was kind of the meat of the week. Like I said, we didn't even really go out that much. I'm trying to think of what we did. We had a business meeting. That was good. Nice. I got to go out, went to a nice restaurant, had a good time. It was a slow week. I think it's just this time of the year. But anyways, hung out, did my thing, played some Fortnite, fucking chilled. It was like I said, very mild week. Yeah. So anyways, been prepping for the trip, been hanging out, testing cameras. We actually, it's funny. We've been talking a lot about like camera systems and stuff, and I got it somewhere further along in my notes. Okay, so there's this camera that was shot. They used to shoot like adolescents and stuff, the DJI Ronin 4D. And look, I've been using my Sony lately. I've got my Komodo. I've got a lot of like weapons in the arsenal, right, when it comes down to shooting something. But this DJI Ronin 4D has really been, it's interesting. I remember the first time I heard about it being used on a movie was like Civil War. That was maybe a year or two ago, maybe 2 years now, like when it was actually made, probably 3. And it was like a promising camera. People were like, oh, like the, Ronin 4D, it's going to have like, I'll explain the camera to you. Back in the day, you used to have this thing like a steady cam, right? That you'd put the camera on and you'd walk and you'd fucking operate. Now there's the Ronin. Everyone's seen it. The guy at the fucking music festival or the videographer with like the camera on the Ronin, right? And it's smooth, nice fluid footage. It's very music video, but it grew into becoming a more professional tool. Well, DJI Ronin, the people that make the Ronin, decided to make this DJI Ronin 4D, this camera that literally is, the camera's built in, the sensor, onto a rig that is already like a steady cam. Let's just call it that, right? A Ronin. And it's just funny because at first everyone's like, well, who's going to use that? How good is their camera technology? And at first people were right. Like the camera it was an emerging technology. It made a lot of sense. It was very practical, but like customer adoption wasn't there yet. People weren't like, oh, I'm running to go and get the fucking DJI Ronin 4D. And it was pricey. I think it was like a $12,000 camera. It's pretty pricey for a fucking unit. So anyways, I digress. The camera itself wasn't exactly, I'd say there's a lot of star cameras out at the time that people would like pick over it, but it's going to be a favorite. And I think like movies like Civil War helped popularize it. I want to say that Warfare movie probably incorporated a bit, but the thing that really, I think, got this camera seen was Adolescence, the television limited series that's on Netflix. They filmed the whole thing on it. If you've seen the show, it's mostly one takes. I've talked about it on the pod before. Great show. Go check it out. A little dark, but you know what? I think it touches on a realistic subject matter and something that probably like, from what I understand, the guy who plays the dad in the show actually wrote it. Stevie was telling me this today and I didn't know that, but fucking just a great actor, great show, great concept. Apparently when they were making the show too, they rehearsed like for I think they shot every episode. They had 3 weeks and it was like the first 2 weeks was really just blocking, figuring out the choreography, the moments. And then the rest of it was like, we're going to just do takes because maybe there's some stitching. From what I understand, the movie or the show rather, the limited series was shot, I think it's 4 episodes, but was shot back to back to back, like no break, rather, all master takes, no breaks in the moment, no stitching. And if they did, like, I'm not going to fucking not give them the credit where it's due because the show was fucking incredibly well made. I might even rewatch it now that I'm talking about it. But the real thing I'm trying to get to is that the DJI Ronin 4D was used because of probably practical reasons. You got the Steadicam built in. It's all there. It's just one camera rig. The operator can go and just fucking go to work, right? And, what's funny is I saw the F1 use this camera as well for some scenes, not all of it, which is, well, if it's not too good for F1, maybe that's another turning point for like the industry saying it. What really got me is I saw behind the scenes of Law and Order SVU, and they were shooting their entire show on it. So it's like, what does that tell you about where camera technology is headed? What does it tell you? It tells me that it doesn't fucking matter anymore, which is super relevant to what I was talking about last week on the podcast. Like, and I used a bigger example, 28 years later was shot on the newest iPhone, maybe the iPhone 16 Pro Max, maybe the 17, don't remember, but besides the point, if you can get these cameras to get those results where you're putting them out like internationally for people to see, I mean, what's the fucking difference? And I guess I'm not just speaking to myself here. I'm speaking to any filmmaker. If you want to make something, you can go and make it. You can get the camera, you can get the iPhone, you can get this Ronin 4D. It doesn't matter. It's your story, dude. If your story's good, if it's compelling, it will deliver. I was actually telling Stevie I want to watch the movie once before I go to Ireland because one, it's just shot like every location on IMDb is just like fucking Dublin, Dublin, Dublin. I'm like, wow, that's, and I'm not trying to like, I don't need to go to the location particularly, but it's going to be interesting to be like, oh, like maybe if I'm walking around, I'm like, oh shit, like this movie was shot here. And this movie was shot very fucking just like lo-fi. Shot on like kind of a camcorder, which there's a difference. The camcorder is more of the birthday camera is what I called it, or like the holiday camera, where you crack it out and your parents film. But they're shooting these on the highest quality format of them. It's very, this movie I'd even throw into the mumblecore category due to the fact that it has the texture, aesthetic, and actual production that one might associate with mumblecore. However, I think this film, as improv as many moments were, and they used non-actors, people that were actual musicians, the organic nature of it, there was definitely some screenplay within it. I'd have to read more about it. The director's John Carney. Can't remember the other details. Didn't have it in my notes for this. It's kind of just coming up in the moment, but really good. If you haven't seen Once, you should watch it. It also won an Oscar, which is like, that kind of comes to the core of my point. Whether you're shooting on the DJI Ronin 4D, if the iPhone, the fucking Red Komodo, the Arri Alexa, it doesn't matter. This movie was shot on this, I think a Canon, from what I recall, double check, or Sony. And it doesn't fucking matter. The movie won a statue. And it's not even about the award. It's like, it's about the story. That movie was so good that it could have been shot on a tin can and this motherfucker was going to win the statue because his story was good. His actors were honest. There was a truth that was sold. The universal truths of life. And, even the title of the movie, if you haven't seen it, is like Once. Like the guy is probably in his like late 30s, maybe early 40s, and he's just never left home. He's, stayed with the family job, and it's just like it's implied that like, hey, well, once I have this, once I do that, once I'm ready, there is no fucking ready. You've got to just do. It's the old fucking Star Wars quote, do or do not, there is no try. It's like, you could try to get ready, you could try and feel like you're prepared, but like there's nothing. It's just like, don't wait for once, I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm definitely gonna watch that movie now. I got myself pumped up on it. But yeah, like just going into formats, mediums, this has been on my mind a lot this week. It's just, it doesn't matter. Your story needs to be good. Your intention needs to be pure, and your truth needs to be, I guess, authentic. You got to sell the truth. And like I said, doesn't matter what you're shooting it on. Is your message, is your story, is it truthful? Is it intentful? And does it have the emotional weight to move somebody? And look, not everything's going to be a fucking Oscar winner or like the most moving, compelling movie ever. But like, a lot of the movies I watch, I do like more serious dramas. I do like more serious comedy or dark comedy and stuff like that, where it's not to say like I don't watch blockbusters and action movies. I watch fucking everything. Just full disclosure, like I'm not stuck on one channel. But when you're going to make something, start looking at like, well, what do I want to make? Where do I see myself in this, world of film? And I think for myself, I see myself more in, and I'll mention this, but like I've been watching a lot of Apatow lately. He's an old favorite. But like that category is really good. That like hybrid comedy drama film where it's like a lot of laughs, but there's a huge fucking heart in these movies. I throw into the Kevin Smith category, and these are like my points of reference I use regularly. I know I talk Tarantino a lot too, but like Quentin Tarantino is making specific ass shit, especially in his age. He's done like timepieces, that are very like, his shit's multi-genre. Like I don't even know what to call a Tarantino movie. It's a Tarantino movie. Everybody's got their own thing, right? And like, I think the further I get into the film world, I start to see like, okay, well, like maybe I'm not going to be all the things I wanted to be. Maybe I'm going to be me, and I'm going to make what I think like is my perspective. It's my lens of the world and like what I'm seeing the world as. And that's something that like, it's nice because I can love all the other stuff and still appreciate it, but have my own lane. And like, maybe I don't need to worry about being the guy who makes the blockbuster or worry about, and I'm not saying I wouldn't want to do it. I'm just saying like, what can I do and what's my story and what's the genre that I'm capturing and doing right, and it's interesting. I don't know. I think it's kind of the beauty of film and more to the point, how I capture that, it's case by case. And I think the ability for someone to make something and tell a story and however they want to tell it is getting easier and easier due to the emerging technology that's coming out, including the DJI Ronin 4D, which is a hell of a fucking camera and something that, I don't know, it's an expensive purchase, but if the money and situation's right, sure, perhaps. But in the meantime, it'd even be a camera that I'd potentially consider renting out and maybe like using for a shoot just to get familiar with it, get to know it. One thing about camera gear too is if like you're a gearhead, rent it or try it or borrow it before you buy it. I like to buy. I don't like to have like maybe it's not a good thing, maybe it's a great thing, but I don't like to be constrained by like, hey, like you have X amount of time. That can be really good and helpful to have a deadline, but it can also be really detrimental because you might be feeling like, well, it just adds to the stress, the unnecessary stress of the fucking shoot. You don't want to be distracted by a timeline or a deadline. You need to be able to feel like you have all the time in the world. Even if you don't, you need to feel like it. And the pressure's good. It definitely makes everyone snap too. But yeah. And besides the point, having this camera, even if I rented it or not, I think I could just fucking fuck shit up on this camera, quite frankly. Excuse my French. But yeah, I think I could destroy with this camera. I'm already so familiar with like floating a camera on a Ronin and actually operating that this seems like if it's like like Steve Jobs said, like the iPhone is supposed to feel like a natural extension of your hand. I imagine DJI Ronin 4D feels like a natural extension of your hand, just like the way you hold it. It's going to be balanced. I could run with this camera and probably keep a steady shot. And if you're just like a casual listener and you're not into filmmaking, you probably think like, what the fuck is this guy even, what are you talking about? It's a huge deal. Like, it's like the reason people spend a lot of money on a movie is steady cam operator, somebody who is trained, has the gear, is physically able to do it. It ain't easy lugging that fucking camera around for 8 to 12 hours a day. Believe me, I did it. I ended up in the fucking hospital with sciatica after shooting for 2 months straight with this fucking giant ass red camera on a rig. But it doesn't matter because, at the end of the day, I figured it out and I figured out how to do it and make it efficiently, cost effectively, but also professionally, which is like, that's the whole point of even having steadiness on a camera. And you don't even have to do this. Like some movies go out there and it's just like shaky fucking old Joe with the camera and it works. Some movies are hits like that, but it's subjective. Everyone's got a standard. Everybody wants to do something they want to do. It's just how it is. It's the nature of the beast. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of research in the camera, a lot of stuff on that. Trying to just get prepared for next year, maybe even this winter. I'm pretty confident I could squeeze out a film very soon. I know also, like for the record, I know I've said so many film ideas on here. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do that one. I've said it before. I like to be prepared. I don't want to be, in a position where I have time, but I don't have a script, or I have an opportunity, but I don't have the material ready to go. It's like, no. Like when there is an opportunity, I'm ready to fucking go. I've got the material written. Let's just get it produced. Let's get the actors. Let's find out the locations, and I'm ready to go to war, right, soldier? But it just depends, dude. It's case by fucking case. And timing is so important with any movie you're doing. I still think the unscripted movie could be done pretty quick. Like I'm confident that movie, a week is tough, but like 2 weeks, I think like 14 days of nonstop shooting, that movie could just be in and out, done. I've got some other ideas with even more moving parts. The reason why I suggest unscripted is that there's so few actors in it most of the time that it seems doable. And like locations are usually easier to get when you're doing something like the locations in this movie particularly. And obviously I haven't disclosed the script itself, but yeah, it just based off my hot take right now, it's like the locations are pretty doable, but it's, whatever the next movie is, it'll be great. I'm obviously very prepared. I've been thinking a lot about just filmmaking in general. Even like, it's funny, because I was writing so much earlier this year, I watched movies and I just saw the fucking script. And I say that still now. Like, obviously, it never goes away. But, like, I was so dialed into screenwriting, I'm like, okay, I see that page. I see that scene. I see how he crafted it or she crafted it. Now, my mind's more on camera, and I'm really looking at, like, okay, well, I was watching, like, maybe I talked about this last week, but I've kind of been, like, watching it in, like, pieces. I watched Spencer with Kirsten Stewart, and it is shot on 16 millimeter for some of it. There's other camera used, but you can tell when it's 16. It's grainy as fuck. And even Christine and I were watching it, we're like, God damn, like it is truly like, maybe you'll even overexposed. Maybe it was an artistic choice. Maybe they didn't know how to use 16 that well. I'm not saying the DP isn't good. It just didn't look like, a super clean exposure. It was noisy, fuzzy, warm. It fit. It didn't matter. Once again, it doesn't fucking matter. I like it. I mean, even if it was unintentional or intentional, good job. The movie subject matter is a little different than I thought it would be. It's a little bit more about like bulimia and Princess Diana, and Kristen Stewart does a great job. Like I actually liked the movie a lot, despite like even the subject matter doesn't bother me. It's not what I thought the movie would be about. And I'm probably late to this movie. I think this came out a few years back, but besides the point, even a movie that's shot like that, like it just doesn't matter. it doesn't matter at this point. I think like if you like it, you like it. And that's like really, I guess like I've just gotten so down the rabbit hole. I'm like, I'm not even trying to pull myself out. I'm just looking at it from like a high altitude. I'm like, it's all the same shit. Story's good. The story's good. Period. The end. So anyways, what else did I do? Okay, so this week I did watch, I mentioned it, I was watching Apatow movies, and like Christine had not seen Knocked Up, and after seeing it, she's like, oh, like at the end of it, Netflix pops up with the next movie, says this is 40. She's like, oh my God, there's another one, because she saw the actors, and it's Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann, and she's like, fuck, like, yeah, I want to watch This Is 40. So that's what we did. We watched it last night. This is 40, 2012. Written and directed by Judd Apatow, starring Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann, Maude Apatow, Iris Apatow, Melissa McCarthy, Albert Brooks, John Lithgow, Jason Segel, and Megan Fox. Honestly, Megan Fox smoked in this movie. She was so funny. She was so good. It might be her best role, like low key. And she's done some other cool shit, but like she was perfect in this role. It was like they could add a spinoff about just her character, and it would have been fucking awesome. But anyways, This Is 40 was really good. You know what's funny about This Is 40? It only came out 5 years after Knocked Up, but I didn't see it for like 10. Not even that I wasn't interested. It was just, it came out 2012. Man, this was like the summer after high school. It probably came out. I just had other shit on my mind, dude. I was out having a good fucking time. Yeah, not focused on seeing the next Judd Apatow movie at that time, like religiously. And maybe it wasn't 10 years that I saw it, but like I definitely saw it like after it came out. And besides the point, seeing it this time in 2025 versus 2012 or 2015, whenever. Sorry, I got this little itch here. The movie just was like, it's incredibly relatable. I might be 32, but I'm fucking 40 in my mind, like for sure. Like I related to it so much about the artistic struggles, the financial pressures, the family dynamics, probably the only thing I'm really missing. Like I don't have kids and shit, but like I can still empathize and relate. And the parent characters almost play like parents that, as much as they are parenting their kids, they're still people, they're still individuals. And like, I think it's funny because like as an adult, I'm starting to see the parental perspective more, or like even the adult perspective on parenting. It's like, oh yeah, like these are just fucking people, you know? They're not, it's very special relationship you have with your parents. It's very specific because you only have your parents, right? But like in this case, seeing it from just like somebody who will be there soon age-wise, it's interesting to see how people never really change. You are who you are, and it's a consistent in your life, and you can grow and you can change, but like, you know, old habits die hard, or your personality doesn't change. And like Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann in this movie, they nailed it, and their chemistry is so good. Like another thing too, I noticed watching the movie this time is like Leslie Mann's kids, Maude and Iris Apatow, are in it. Her husband's directing. The only real thing that makes this not like a psychodrama or something that's almost like mockumentary of their life is the fact that Paul Rudd is playing Judd Apatow's like position in the family. They must have a great relationship, a lot of trust. Obviously, Judd Apatow is a very secure man. He's letting this guy, you know, pretty much emulate his marriage and relationship. And I get it's acting, but still, like I think anybody might be like, this is it could be uncomfortable, but it's not. It's done so well, and it's done so tastefully and artistically, and it's so funny but dramatic, and there's a big heart in it that I really believe that this is a family. And especially seeing them twice between Knocked Up and 5 years later, seeing them in This Is 40, it's like this grown family that's like grown together. It's a very like, it's very well done. You know, I know I was saying last week, I think Knocked Up is Judd Apatow's best movie, but this is like a close second. And like, look, my favorite one is like Funny People, out of this like little trilogy of films he made between like 07 and fucking 2012 or 06 and 2012, whatever it was. And that's besides the point, but like, yeah, This Is 40 hit hard. It's funny too, because Paul Rudd's character is trying to do an artistic pursuit. He's trying to start his own record label, go out on his own, and he couldn't get another job in the music business, so that's why he started it. He used to work at Sony, and then Sony let him go, and now he's trying to do his own thing, and he's betting on the wrong people, and he's investing too much money into things he shouldn't be, and it's just, he's making a lot of mistakes that, like, I think, like, you know, Judd Apatow is probably looking in reverse when he writes these scripts. He's not thinking about who he is at 40 as much as, like, oh, like, I remember when I was 20, and I made all these mistakes. Like, for example, in the show, or in the movie rather, Judd Apatow's character buys a neon sign for like $30,000 because he's like, well, if we want to sign bands, we got to look professional. And his like coworker tells him like straight up, like, it doesn't fucking matter. You should spend 12 grand hiring the band that this guy that you hired, this old rocker, originally played with, and marketing that, because that's what's going to sell tickets and get you more fucking presents. And he kind of thinks about it. He's like, fuck, the guy's right. Like 30,000 on this fucking neon signage, or 12 grand on the band, and maybe we can monetize tickets for $120 and get 1,000 people there and make all of our money back, if not more. it's the pitfalls of a young creative or somebody who's just figuring it out as they go. And that's fucking most people, right? But it was relatable to me. He's also got like a second mortgage on his house. I don't have that shit. But like he's using his assets and over leveraged. And his wife owns like a fucking clothing store. And she's also having like money stolen from the store. They think it's Megan Fox. It's not. It's another character in the movie. But besides the point, it's just so relatable because as you get older, you have to start taking care of yourself. And it's a priority to like, and I don't mean like, oh, you got to take care of yourself. I mean like really take care of yourself. You got to figure out the fucking money game and start really looking at life as like, how am I going to survive, you know, for the next 40 or 50 fucking years financially without, you know, having to, you know, slave away at a wage. And I know that's not, might sound harsh, but it's true. Like, you know, nobody wants to be in that tough position all the way up till, you know, the end. You want to fucking figure out a way to be like, hey, I need to figure out my financial shit because I don't want to be, you want freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to be able to live free and it's not necessarily like free in terms of like rights and shit as much as like free, like financially free. You want to be able to not be burdened. And like, I thought this movie nailed it because it's so relatable to the like artistic pursuit. You put off a lot of financial shit for the artistic pursuit, or you double down on yourself constantly. Like I'll reinvest, and it can get wearing and it can make you feel like you want to implode or like, how do I say? The burnout can happen, but like that's also why it's so important. Like, and I tell this to any artist, like if you think just going out and playing music is going to pay the bills, like it's just like, it's going to be tough. If you think just doing filmmaking is going to be enough, like not right away, like unless you just fucking get so lucky, it might take some time to build your career and get to a point where you're valuable in terms of monetizing. And that's okay. Like just keep that perspective that like, it's not overnight. Overnight success is like, I think I heard Tarantino say, he's like, yeah, everyone thinks it was overnight, but it was 10 years of failure. And then one day it fucking clicked and I got my foot in the door and the traction I needed to keep that door fucking wide open for a long time. So like, and that's more encouragement. Like if you're feeling like just, you gotta go all in all the time. Like I go all in every now and then, but it's like when the moment's right. Be strategic. Do not dig yourself into a hole you can't dig yourself out of, and be smart. Just be smart. Don't let yourself, get angry or resentful that things aren't working because like I've been a young artist. I remember thinking like, why, like, especially with music, I used to think like, why the fuck is this not working? And it's like, you know what? It's a tough gig. And if you don't do it just for money, do it because you love it. Like 100 fucking percent. Like I love movies. I love filmmaking. I've loved it since the moment I could be conscious of what this shit is. It's always clicked with me. It's not even escapism necessarily. I love the escape of film, but it's just a mystery. It's like film is like a mystery, and it's just the more you figure it out, the more clues you put together. It's just exciting, and like it's an endless, lifelong pursuit. That's how I look at it. I never think I'll be fully satisfied with the film journey, and I don't mean like, of course, like there's the highs and lows. Like I feel so fucking good, like got the movie done, or like seeing the fucking edit for the first time. That will never ever fucking go away. It's just always satisfying. Even though I went out and shot something right now, it'd be like, wow, like I'm excited to get it into the lab and fucking see how this looks. But yeah, never lose that, because once you lose sight of that and it just feels like a job or like just it's only for money, like I just don't think you're going to enjoy it. It's like, you know, don't make it a job as much as it is a career. I guess that makes no sense. Maybe it's oxymoronic, but like that's how I feel. Like I want a film career. I don't want a film job. Like I could go get a film job and like do something really technical or like, how do I say this? Utilitarian. But like, that's not my dream. My dream is to like write, direct, be in movies and create them in the way I do them. And like, I don't know. And once again, clearly production and my approach to film has been on my mind. And I've actually like, I think like not making a movie like right after Peninsula Nights might've been like actually a blessing in disguise, because I feel like whatever I would have made right after Peninsula Nights would have been very similar to Peninsula Nights. And like, for better or worse, I won't ever know, because it's been probably like a year and a half since I actually was in production. But yeah, I think it's good sometimes to come back with perspective and like a little more life experience and just thinking about what you want to do. And that's where I feel like I'm at right now. So this is 40 though. It hit on all those sincere artistic struggle notes, which was really cool. And it also, like, you know, Judd's really good at relationships, like dynamics, which is something I'm always so interested in, is like the human complexity of emotions and like intrapersonal relationships. It's just something that you can really like sink your teeth into, because we all live through it. It's so realistic to our lives. Like in, you know, even a big movie, like there's like space movies that are just like so about space, right? Like, and they're just like popcorn, like Gravity. I don't want to bash Gravity, but Gravity was like a blockbuster spectacle versus like Interstellar. Interstellar is not about, oh, look at the spaceship. It's incredibly well done. The CG or whatever the practical effects that Christopher Nolan has done, I think there's CGI in there. It's amazing. It's Kubrick-esque. But the core of that movie is the emotional, interpersonal relationships. It is not so much about like, oh, they're going to space. That is like a MacGuffin of the film is like they're going to space versus like the journey between the characters and relationships between was it Cooper and the dad? I can't remember their names in the film off the top, but like the father-daughter relationship's really important. That's also shown in like the Michael Caine and Anne Hathaway relationship. I believe it's her father. It's just so many of the elements are like paralleled, and it's just it's a story about life, more aging, roles in life. It's just like, this is just one movie, but yeah, it's more about the relationships. And I think that's what even This Is 40 is about, the relationships. I think we were watching a scene in This Is 40, and it's like towards the end of the movie, and it's the 40th birthday party for Judd Apatow's character. And the scene, it goes on for like 20 minutes, but it's all talking. Mostly like the action in the movie is very like, the daughter catches the mom smoking a cigarette, Paul Rudd sneaking a cupcake. It's very like, it's not like a fucking action sequence, but these are all moments within the scene, right? Within the scene rather. And I think that's what made it so good, is that it's like, even though they're just talking and fucking having arguments and fights and shit, it is compelling. And that's like literally like, I don't know, it's just like those scenes make sense to me. That type of filmmaking makes sense to me. It's like what I'm like, okay, well, yeah, like that's interesting to me. And everyone's drawn to their own thing. There's some people that are just drawn to the musical. They want to hear fucking songs and they want to see the performance, the choreography. That's fine too. Everybody's got their thing, but like, I don't know. How people talk to each other, their relationships, it's just so fascinating. And maybe it's a little dry, maybe it's not. I personally just think it's like the most interesting thing you could do, like with like writing and like, and that's not to say I don't like other stuff. I'm talking very from like a personal perspective, and probably honestly from an approach to like how I'd make a movie, or what I would make rather. Yeah. But anyways, This Is 40 was really good. I mean, there's some Apatow movies I haven't seen. I remember watching Trainwreck, but like I wasn't really tuned in. He had some other shit. I know he had a movie on Netflix during COVID, and I don't remember it being great. I'm not trying to even be a hater. I just don't remember it being the best movie. But his good work is really good. And This Is 40 felt like a very personal movie. Also, it's like interesting to take two characters that weren't the protagonist. They were definitely heavy in Knocked Up. I consider him the second protagonist. But he took them and made an original story that was like as good as Knocked Up, maybe if not better. I don't even want to compare them and like, oh, this one was better or not. Knocked Up's a classic. This Is 40, I think like after seeing it after 2012, it's been 13 years since this flick came out. I think it's a minted classic. It's definitely a heavy hitter in his catalog of work and his filmography rather. And it's crazy he was on such a roll. I know I mentioned these movies, but like Knocked Up, Funny People, This Is 40, that's 3 hits for a lifetime. Like honestly, he could have not made anything else, gotten hit by a bus, whatever, and he would have been fucking minted. Like it's just great. He could have James Dean'd it. I'm in 2 or 3 movies and then I'm fucking out, or made 2 or 3 movies and then he's out. But yeah, really good, really inspired me to, you know, one thing his movies have inspired me to do, just watching his work recently, is I see so much of the improv in the moment filmmaking. And it's the type of improv that I think I've been trying to like pinpoint. There's like the Joe Swanberg, like complete improv approach where it's like literally like, he like writes a fucking like couple words like, in this scene you fight about whatever. Okay, well that's like, it's so much freedom for the actor. And I like that. I think it's really fucking cool. And there is a magic that happens during that. But I write scripts more than I just fucking give, like, here's a scene. Like, and in Blueprint, I could do it. I like that approach too. With Apatow, I feel like Apatow's like, here's the meat of the dialogue. Read what I wrote. You guys have my permission to riff. And he also uses multiple cameras, which is super fucking important. And something like I'm thinking of maybe having multi-camera, maybe on the next film if I can. If not, in the future, if I go to film something more dramedy driven, like, which is like, you know, my plan kind of to some extent, where I have multicam for the ability to let the actors improv like completely freely. Because here's the deal, when you have one camera, you can't cut away to like this and then like, hey, we're gonna shave down a little bit so the response is different. You don't have it. But when you have 3 cameras, I could be like, okay, here's my one shot master. Okay, coverage, she's making a joke. Okay, I didn't like that joke as much, but she made another joke 10 seconds later. It's really funny. So like, cut that out. All right, come from the master, cut into her making the joke, cut to the reaction from that moment she made that joke, take off 10 seconds from here. It sounds very technical. It's just the way my mind fucking thinks, but it's just, you can't do that with one camera. You got to have two or three, at least two. And that, I think, is the magic that really allows the actors and the script to come to life. And by come to life, I don't mean like just acting and performing, but like breathing a little bit more life into the beat. If something feels natural, if the actor's like, you know what, like we shot it this way, we shot it the way that we need, right? That's actually probably what I do. I'd probably shoot it the way we need. Let's just get the dialogue. And anything after that, the jokes and the funny, we can just start punching and clipping them in. And that's probably exactly what Judd's doing, to be honest. I'm having this realization right now, and it's not like the first time I've thought of this, but yeah, it gives you a lot of creative license to manipulate the scene in the editing, room, editing lab, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think that's something I would do. I got this one script I really am passionate about. Involves like an ensemble of people where improv would be really nice. It would really like add to the movie. And also like, I'm not fishing for minutes on a screenplay. My screenplays are tight. Usually it's like, 90 pages. It's going to be an hour and a half no matter what. But if you want to hit that 2 hour mark easy, let them fucking go. Let the actors improv, let everybody riff. Let's just have a good time with it. Let's get loose. I call it the jazz, of filmmaking, like improv. Just let it fucking ride. You want to do a little solo here. You want to make a little funny here. As long as we get the core material and the intent of the scene, let it ride, baby. Let it fucking ride. But anyways, this is 40 great. Judd Apatow's films have been on my mind. Might even fucking watch Funny People and make it a hat trick, Overall, though, I've been super refreshing watching his movies and kind of revisiting Also, it's funny, these movies now, like, they remind me of that time in my life, like not necessarily my 20s, but like, yeah, like my teen years and like my early 20s. And it's funny because that was a really special time. And like, I associate these movies and the music, even in these movies, it's so fucking good. It's so 2010s and 2000s. Judd was really lucky that was like the music available at the time because it put that signature and timestamp on that moment in time into his films. And like, maybe it's because I'm sentimental or nostalgic for that time, but it really just, it glued it all together. Can't say enough good about the fucking guy. And you know what? Even for this movie not having like Seth Rogen and any of the original cast, there's one person who came back outside of the original cast. Actually, there's a few. There's like the gynecologist. And then there was the Jason Segel. He plays a different character. He plays literally, his name's Jason. I think in the other movie Knocked Up, his name's Marshall or something. But it's just funny that he fucking is in this movie as a new character in the same universe. It's very, like, I wouldn't even call it meta as much as it's just funny because he's such a fucking big presence. But 10 out of 10, and I also really love when a director has a group. They have a core group of friends, their little entourage or ensemble that they're like, hey, you know what? Like, no matter what, like, you got the family pass. Like, this next movie, like, you got to be in it, even if it's a small character. I know Sandler does that. A lot of people do. It's not uncommon to have your regulars. And that's something that I think also reflects, like, the kind of brotherhood or friendship, or even perhaps there's ladies in there too, sisterhood, not to cut anyone out, that I aspire to have. I think it's nice to be able to work with people you love. And even watching these movies, you can tell that, like, Judd Apatow, he loves making these movies with the group of people he's with because he loves them, and it's almost like a family movie with a fucking studio budget. It really is. Yeah. And it's cool. I don't know. I really like that type of movie. Really like that type of film. And it just, there's a few other movies that kind of give me that feeling, like Adventureland, Greg Mortola's films. I think he also directed Superbad. So clearly, like, I think here's the deal. I'm realizing how attracted I am to this, like, 2000s, 2010s comedy drama scene. It really is calling to me right now in terms of, like, I like serious movies, but there's also something about having that levity that makes it so much easier to digest. And, like, I don't know, it's like I think it's easier to get that within the moment is what I'm getting down to, other than just writing it. Like, the humor, sure, you can write it, but there's some shit in the script, like, you can't write. Like, Paul Rudd, like, there's a scene where he's clearly, like, he, like, farts in front of Leslie Mann on the bed and, like, stone cold serious face. And she's literally, like, you can tell she's literally offended, but it's the takes rolling, the camera's rolling. And it was so authentic. It's like, there's nothing disingenuous about this moment. The whole movie felt genuine. And that's something that's if I could talk about his movies in one word capacity, is just they're very genuine. Here's the second word, authentic and truthful for a third one. And I like it. I like it a lot. And it's something I aspire to do. And yeah, it's just, he's figured something out. He's got some real special touch on his movies. Anyways, that's all I really watched this week. I know Stranger Things is coming out. We're going to try and burn through the first fucking, whatever, 4 or 5 seasons. I don't even know at this point. It's been so long. Everyone's complaining about it. But for real, Stranger Things 5, I think it is, took way too long to come out. Those kids are going to have kids by this time this fucking thing comes out. Could you imagine? 11's got an 11-year-old. No, but yeah, hang out, We got fucking Thanksgiving coming up. Gonna try and bake a nice apple pie, maybe some cookies. I usually do desserts. That's my specialty, my forte. So do that. Prepare for fucking Ireland. Next time you hear me talking, I'll probably be posting this before I get onto a fucking international flight, which is crazy to think. I've only been out of the United States like a couple times, and it's just really Mexico, you know? Did some mission trips in high school. Good old Catholic boy building some fucking houses for the people in need. And that was really good. It was a great experience. Actually, a lot of character building. It was, I can't believe I did that. But yeah, I was right in like the cuts of TJ. I remember like one night we were at this compound and like people knew we were Americans there and they knew it was like a Christian or Catholic organization, but that didn't stop people from like breaking into the compound and stealing passports. Thankfully mine wasn't compromised, but one of the guys we were with actually grew up in TJ and he was like, I'll go out and get them. And he like straight up took a wad of cash and went and bought them off these guys. He knew what they wanted. They just wanted money. What else were they going to use these passports for? Like, they're pretty valueless unless you're really going to like, what are you going to cut someone's fucking face out, steal their identity? I don't know. And somebody took a fucking credit card and bought a bunch of shit at Home Depot, which is like, fuck it, I guess, you know. Shit happens. And the other times I've been to Mexico was really like, I went to Puerto Vallarta. It was nice. It was a good trip. Stayed at a really nice hotel. And it was an interesting experience, to say the least. Like, I mean, Mexico's a great time. But it's not, you know, fucking Ireland or Europe. And this is a way longer, way bigger trip than that. And it's going to be an experience. I'm super fucking excited to go, to be honest. And it's actually crazy how like soon it is coming up. I bought my ticket like maybe a week and a half ago. Maybe. I can't even fucking remember. And like I was literally talking and I'm like, holy shit, like I think I'm leaving like 3 days after Thanksgiving. So it's like, it's shockingly fast and it's exciting and it's cool and it's going to be a fucking great experience. I'm actually just fucking ecstatic for it. But yeah, so... And I'm definitely going to drop a pod or two. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to talk to Anthony, figure out how we're going to do that in Ireland. I think we're going to maybe both release the same pod. I don't really care. Just it's going to be cool to do. Anyways, guys, I think that's about all I got. I feel like I say it every time, but all right. That's about all I got, everybody. It's Devin Thomas, and this has been another episode of Unscripted. I'll talk to you all next week. Have a happy fucking Thanksgiving and eat a ton of shit for me. All right. Love you guys. Peace.